lights, up.
I love you.
Would make my dreams come true.
In a society that's totally obsessed with youth and perfection of the body, the dance generators defy sort of conventional ideas about beauty.
We have dancers in their teens,
Tenemos bailarines en sus 20s,
in their 20s,
in our 30s, in their 40s, 50s, in their 60s, and 70s.
This was sort of described as dancing, but for students and for seniors, and I thought, oh, it got to be different. I'll see what it is.
So we're not interested in creating relationships between generations that are sort of traditional.
You're not put in a box. Yes, you're 80 and yes, you can move.
Hey, I could do it if I wanted to. I needn't let age be a barrier.
The work that we do with school children, we really try to show examples where the children can see older people on stage and say, look, they can do that, so can
In the same week, we might see children who are 5 years old, and then we might come home and perform for the Fromm students who are, I think it's 55 and older.
The work is created to engage audiences in questions relating to who gets to dance and what the content of the dance can be.
One of the choreographers, Natalie, said that she wanted to take and debunk the myth of the typical fairy tale.
This story is a fairy tale, but it's different from many of the fairy tales you might have heard. So I'd like you to listen and think about how this princess is a very special and unique fairy tale character.
So that's what she had us start to do, to choreograph movements that symbolize once upon a time, but also to put some modern humor into it through body language, through facial expressions, through verbal sounds.
The focus of the work is primarily on looking at how pieces are created, how choreography comes to be.
count with me, because sometimes if you say the number, it helps you remember the movement. So we've got 1, 2, 3. And now, can someone show me count number 4? Someone in the audience. Anything you want to do with your arms or torso? Great. 4. She was getting a hair out of her.
You learn different movements, and once you think you've learned the movement, you say, I got it. Then they'll say, now we'll tweak it. And once they're satisfied with what they think might be, never is, but might be close to the final product, then they'll say, all right, now we'll rehearse it. But in the meantime, you've gone through variations of the same movement. And after a while, it becomes a game. And you get to use your mind, which in a way you'd not used it in years.
I've been with, thank goodness, the dance generators for 2 years now, 2 semesters. And it's just been a wonderful experience. It has really fortified me.
One dancer, Margot, has been dancing her whole life, and she brings a very, she's very creative, but she also brings a very technical aspect to the group that people can kind of pull from.
Dance was my first love, and probably the last thing I'll do on this planet. So I am here to dance for you. I come from a very disciplined background in dance, and this has just been revolutionary for me. It's been awe-inspiring in that I can break the mold a little bit.
There was a certain set of skills or techniques that you needed in order to succeed and in order to become a professional dancer.
It's a different kind of discipline. It's experimental, if you will.
More and more in contemporary choreography, sort of the line between theater and dance is blurring, and actually here at USF, the dance and theater program work very closely together.
So when you're talking and working with people who have been in motion for 50 years, the palette of movement changes.
Part of the process in the rehearsing was a sense of age and aging.
The stories that are embedded in these bodies are very different than the stories that are embedded in younger people's bodies. And when you bring those two together, it really sort of reinvigorates, in my mind, reinvigorates the world of dance and physicality.
You're able to explore the kind of skills that you can bring to a group, and that's not necessarily always something that can be learned in a class.
And I can add my age to dance now, where in the past it was one or the other. You danced or you got old. I'm just very inspired to continue dance because I'm allowed to.
People will come up afterwards and say, how do I get involved? I can see that this is something that I would like to do. I used to do this, many years ago, and it's wonderful to see that it's still possible.
Back up to our ears and back down. And one shoulder, up, down, other shoulder,